Yo, people. Alright, so we're back with episode 2 of Quarantine Chronicles. Last time I would have spoken about how I adjusted to the changes that, were pretty much forced upon us based on the circumstances regarding the current pandemic. Um, Basically, it was not a smooth transition, that is for sure. But since then, I feel like things have definitely positively picked up. That's the truth. I was, able to give myself the self-talk I needed to get back on track and feel like I am still making positive progression towards my goal. And I guess that has helped me to manage my mental and emotional responses a lot better. Yeah, I still do have moments of boredom for sure, but it's definitely not as bad as before. Um, Two words I would have mentioned in the last podcast would have been to my goals for this period, this quarantine period, would be to survive and thrive. And after I had my moment of self pity, and I sat down and I brainstormed about how I could make the best of this situation, and I actually put it into action, things have been a lot more stable. Um, so basically, part of my plan was to just survive this year with my mental faculties intact. I guess one of the things you would have heard a lot of people talking about was the fact that mental mental problems could arise from people being in quarantine for too long, as we have seen from some places which were under quarantine from before my country and for much longer. It did have an impact on the mental health of some persons. So at least I was aware of that from the beginning. And one thing I sought to do was to make sure that I kept my mind active. So from going from being highly productive and usually very busy to very inactive without much choice, that's a very sharp change. So under my survive goals, I basically outlined a few activities that will help keep my mind sharp and help keep me progressing. One of them was to ensure that I had just some basic pieces of equipment that I could continue exercising. Exercising on a whole helps in pretty much every area of my life. It helps me de-stress. It helps keep me physically fit and mentally sound so that I could deal with all the normal stressors that I have on my day-to-day life. So exercise was definitely number one on my list. I went and I got a few pieces of equipment I could use at home, and I brought some equipment from the gym. So I brought some dumbbells and a bench, just the basics, and that has been working for me pretty good so far. I find the level of intensity I had before and the focus is not the same as in the gym setting, and I've had to kind of accept that. I progressed slightly, but definitely not at the rate that I was before. So I pretty much accepted that. I am working with my current circumstances to the best of my ability, and I think that's the best route for right now. So that was one. Two, to keep my mind active with reading. So I have been ordering books on Kindle or going over old books I would have read. So basically, learning something new gives me that place in my mind that helps me know I'm still progressing in terms of my self-development, and then how I can apply those things to my business. And I even signed up for a few online courses. What I have noticed was that a lot of the courses right now are actually on some pretty heavy discounts, so I've taken advantage of that. I finished one course recently and started another, and I treated it just like I was at school. I planned out my day from 8 a.m. in the morning to 9 p.m. at night. So once I teach my online fitness classes, I went to school. I had all my breaks, and some days I would get tired faster than others. I wouldn't really force it. I would just spend some time either going to watch TV or browse on my phone. And so far that has been working pretty good. So yeah, the working out, keeping my mind sharp with, reading new material, and, still engaging in some form of self-improvement with, online courses. So that is the survive part of this, and that also leads into the second part, which is thrive. The second part of my plan, which was to thrive after all of this is over. And basically what I meant by that is just set up myself to be in a position where I can actually be better after all of this. I mean, at first it was very difficult to look at the silver lining in this whole situation, but I had to force myself to find a way to make something positive out of this situation. So yeah, so far for thriving, the online courses have been paying off pretty good. It's something I actually had plans to do, but just not yet. So now I'm just taking this opportunity that I have some downtime to actually jump ahead and work on those certifications. So that's something I see can be a positive from this whole experience, and it's actually something I enjoy doing. I guess when I'm finished, everybody will pretty much know what I have been working on, and yeah, I just can't wait to share that. I believe it will be able to benefit a lot of people, and I believe also I'm at a point where I've had enough experience that I can relate my message to those who may need it a little better. So yeah, that's just an update for now. I'm doing better. I hope you are doing better as well. I know this is a tough period for everybody, but just put your best foot forward, make the best of the situation. Be thankful for those who are around you, and be thankful for what you are able to do right now. It's not going to last forever, and we can all come out better at the end of this if we put in the work. I hope you're taking care of your mental health, and even if we need to call and speak to a friend, I think sometimes that's all that was needed. On my worst day, I actually called one of my friends, and we actually ended up speaking for near 3 hours, and that gave me the shift in perspective that I really needed, just to feel a little better again. I mean, we're all human. I've definitely been in worse situations before. This one isn't too bad, but it just kind of reminds me that sometimes you can lean on other people. That is something I don't regularly do. And yeah, if you need to speak to a friend, then don't be afraid to do so. Everybody right now is in a peculiar position. This is pretty much, I believe this will be a first for the majority of persons. I don't know who else has been through a pandemic before. From what I understand, the last one would have been Ebola. But yeah, one of the more serious pandemics. But I believe we can make it out. We can make it out better than when we came in. Just requires a shift in perspective, a huge shift in perspective, but it's possible. So that's it for right now. I just hope this message is finding you in a better place than when we last spoke, and I'll see you in the next podcast.